Amy.
And I'm Abby.
And we just learned about barn quilts.
We will be making them today.
Yep, we're going to make these coasters that you can put your drinks on, and we got the idea from barn quilts. They're super fun and easy to make, and we're going to show you how to do it.
Let's dive in.
So we're going to get started, and we need some colorful paper to make our barn quilt coasters, and some Mod Podge scissors, something to paint it with, and a tile, or you could use a piece of wood. So here we have these templates we traced, and they're just 9 squares. So we're going to lay them over the paper that we're using in the corner.
And if you do stripe it, it might be kind of hard to focus on the lines that you're doing, so you might want to turn it over. It might be a good idea.
Yeah, so you just put it in the corner and cut along the edges of the template. Cut each little square. So you can cut them, as we did on our designs, into triangles or squares. So we're just going to use the squares. We can cut them in half for a triangle and half again for a small triangle. And you can make whatever design you want. There's lots of choices. And you lay it out to see what design you want first. So to make the triangles, you just cut the square in half. And if you want a small triangle, you'll cut it in half again. So small triangles and a big triangle. They're super easy to make and really fun for putting your drinks on their coasters, and we got the idea from barn quilts. So that's kind of where we're going with this. So that's what I'm going to do for my design, and right now I'm just kind of laying it out. I'm going to make these smaller. So after we have it laid out, we're just going to move it off to the side how it was. Just kind of like that. Now I'm going to get the Mod Podge, take a brush, I'm going to get Mod Podge all over. You want quite a lot so they'll be able to stick. And decent amount. You want to spread it out so that, and keep it wet. So when you put your triangles and squares on, you're able to move them around and get them in the right spot that you want while it's still wet. So I've got some on. I'm going to start putting my designs on. And you can kind of wiggle them around to get them in the right spot. And how's yours coming, Abby?
Not so good. I can't figure out anything to do.
I think that looks good.
Super hard.
Still wet, wiggle them around, make sure everything's how you want it to be before you do the final Mod Podge. Okay, so I think that's how I want it to look. Next, I'm going to take the Mod Podge, make sure I press the edges down really good. Press it down, and the Mod Podge will help with that. So I get some more Mod Podge. Mod Podge over it to really seal them in place on my tile. Whoops. And push the corners down. Now I've got mine, all the Mod Podge spread out. And it's all how I want it. Yeah, I can move them around when it's wet. So Abby's getting hers. Mine is all how I want it. It's all in place. My Mod Podge is on. So I'm going to set it to dry, and then it'll hopefully end up looking nice and smooth and shiny, and it will be a really good barn quilt coaster. So Abby's finishing hers up, and they're really fun and easy to make. And she's going to brush that. While she's finishing that up, we'll go ahead and see you later. They're really fun and easy to make, and I think they're really cool. So bye for now.
See ya.
Guidelines for this first quilt trail in Kansas. In order to qualify for our trail, they must be 8 by 8 foot in rural areas, 4x4 for the city, mounted on an ag-related structure. The original goal was 12 barn quilts. 5 years later, there are 41. A quilt tells a story, and everyone has a story of a quilt. There are no two barn quilts alike because no two people have the same story. The purpose of a quilt is to piece together various symbols, colors, patterns, and stitches to tell a story through an abstract work of art. As barn quilts beautify the landscape of Kansas, they connect us to each other and to the American farmer.